A new AP GFK poll showing Americans are growing less confident about the direction of the nation. While President Obama still has the approval of an overall majority, the country is growing increasingly pessimistic. 56% now say we're heading in the wrong direction. That's up from 51% last month. Just 38% say we are heading in the right direction. Let's talk about that with Jason Schechter, a former spokesman for President Bill Clinton. Rick Tyler is founding director of Renewing American Leadership and a spokesman for Newt Gingrich. Welcome to both of you. That right track, wrong track number, that's kind of a defining thing for presidents, isn't it, Jason?
Well, I'm not sure how much credence, frankly, I would lend to these numbers. The president's job approval rating, as you said, is still in the mid-50s. That's where he was about a month ago. And, I'm not sure this is much of a long-term indicator for the president. If you look at Ronald Reagan at his first year in office, at this point he was about 12 points down where he was at the beginning of the year. On the other hand, if you look at George W. Bush, he had a 90% approval rating at this point in his first year. So I think you have to be careful how much credence you lend to this.
One reporter put it this way, said that the euphoria of 2008 is over and America is in a funk. Rick?
Well, look, there's a building, sure, maybe one poll, no credence, but a preponderance of evidence seems to suggest after Virginia and after New Jersey and after this poll, and of course all presidents come in with high expectations, but this president, Barack Obama, came in with huge, enormous expectation. He has dropped 20 points from 74 to 54. And while people like the president personally, and they like his speeches, I liked his speech yesterday, unfortunately, good speeches don't create jobs. Good speeches don't keep America safe from terrorist attacks. Good speeches don't lead to prosperity. Good policy does. And we have a president who continues to give good speeches, but his policies are wrong, and people don't believe his policies will lead to wealth, freedom, and prosperity.
Also noteworthy, Jason, that he's about to leave for this long tour of Asia. Isn't it sort of the rule of thumb in Washington that when the going gets tough at home, you head overseas?
Well, not necessarily. I think, look, where I would look at this is really at the president's overall job approval numbers. Again, he still has a majority of approval. I think that is because he has had significant accomplishments despite all of the noise in his first year. The economy is stabilizing. We're very close to regulatory reform, and we're very close to health care reform. And on healthcare reform, if you look at what happened this past weekend in the House of Representatives, it was historic, and we're now closer than ever to having healthcare reform pass. If that happens, he's going to get a significant boost, and I think that's going to carry over well into next year's midterm elections.
He has undertaken some pretty heavy lifting, Rick. I mean, and when you consider the fact that he entered office at a time when the markets had tanked and the economy was in a tailspin. I mean, is that the explanation for where his numbers are?
Well, notice what happened. I mean, Wall Street seems to have recovered because President Obama took care of his friends on Wall Street, but that seems to come at the price of the 10% of 0.2% of people who are unemployed. And you had some interesting numbers. People coming out of college are now unemployed at nearly over 15%, and then you have young people who are unemployed at 10.8%, and people want to know where the jobs are. Jason's former boss, President Clinton, went up to the Hill to try to convince the senators to vote for this, and I'm sure his message was something like this: had we done health care reform in 1992, we wouldn't have lost the Congress in 1994. I don't think that's true. I think if he had passed health care reform in 1992, he would have been a one-term president. The president's poll numbers, Bill Clinton, turned around when he adopted NAFTA, and he shed the idea that he had done nothing because his first year was bogged with Bosnia, unemployment, Haiti, Zoe Baird, gays in the military, on and on and on. It was only when he took on NAFTA, and then when his numbers really increased, he took on the Republican agenda of tax cuts, defense increased spending, welfare reform, all these things. This president doesn't show any signs of addressing the fundamentals that would lead to job creations, and that's what people want. They should send James Carville to Hill. It's about the economy.
All right, Jason, what do you think about that?
Well, I think that's certainly not true. And actually, if you look at the unemployment numbers, they're what economists call a lagging indicator. They're usually the last to recover. If you look at other economic indicators, retail numbers, productivity, and jobless claims, those are all trending in the right direction. So I think the president is much more successful on the economy that he's getting credit for here, and I think we're going to start to see that translate over the next few months.
We'll see where those numbers go. Jason Schechter on the Democratic side, Rick Tyler on the Republican side.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.